What's your shirt say? Is that like a?
It says pumpkin spice, bro.
Oh
pumpkin
my
spice
God.
life. It's not a football shirt. I just was like, it's pumpkin spice season, dude.
I mean, I saw saw something yesterday where it was like, it's Friday the 13th, fall weather, something like that, and like one other thing, they're like, if this doesn't make you want to go and just chug some pumpkin spice, go trick or treating, I don't know what does.
I say
like,
fuck it. We're already recording. Let's just start off with that. That was cool.
Yeah, that's fine, man. Well,
Yeah.
hey, everybody, welcome to Breadncircuses
Yeah.
over here.
That's cool.
We got the substandard intro here. I'm Nick Kohler. This is
Caleb Salvatore. Tuesday night at the back line. You can see me fast and fresh. Stand-up event. I'll be there. I'll be opening, but it's still cool.
If you guys go down there too in Omaha, me and Caleb are a lot at that backline doing our open mic nights down there. We're just testing stuff and everything. If you're going to be in the Nebraska or even Council Bluffs, Iowa area, and you want to go out to Lincoln, next weekend, Saturday, what is that? The
21st.
First, yeah. We're going to be hosting a comedy event in Lincoln. Caleb, if you want to...
So it depends what time the Nebraska game is. Obviously, it's a road game, so traffic shouldn't be too much of a pain in the ass. But it's probably, if it's a late game, it'll probably turn into a Husker football party / comedy event. So just stay tuned. We'll have links on our Facebook and updates for it.
Yep, it's going to be a real fun time. There's going to be a lot of good comedians there, including us. So if you guys want to come out, support the podcast, also go laugh your asses off, please do. It's going to be a real fun time. So
for sure. Today we've got our friend. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, Keagan Jewell. So
you host your own show, right?
I do, yeah. Monday Motivation Podcast with Keagan Jewell. On trying to think of what all I've got it on: Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor, and then I post it to YouTube and SoundCloud myself.
Cool.
Nice.
So that's kind of like how we do it here too. I like that it's like that because, like, especially when you do a podcast, you throw it on YouTube. It's like really just kind of you're doing it for the people that like YouTube. So
yeah.
Are you guys like us where YouTube's a real big focus, or not like us where YouTube's a big focus because we just kind of right now?
Yeah, as I've looked at it, like I think I've had maybe one person just the other day. Had someone hit me up about it and was asking a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, do you have it other places other than Apple?" I don't have an Apple product, I told them, and their response out of all of those was, "Oh, awesome! I'm gonna get on YouTube and check it out right now." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good."
That's actually where I watch all of our episodes is on YouTube
Really?
because I don't want to have a Spotify profile. I don't have Apple. Like, I don't really use Apple really. There's actually a couple smaller podcast networks out there. I forget what
Like
they're.
Stitcher's cool.
Stitcher's really
I've
cool.
heard of
actually.
Stitcher, yeah.
Yeah.
You should try to. That's like buying low right now if you want to get on. There.
Yeah,
I like their platform.
Heard of Stitcher. There's Overcast. I know that
we
they've
have
got like,
Overcast.
Yep.
and then surprisingly TuneIn Radio, which I was like,
I don't know what that is.
I've used it for like sports and stuff. That's literally whenever I go to listen to Oklahoma games or Nebraska games,
Yeah.
I'll use TuneIn Radio. And I was like, I wouldn't think of using this for a podcast, but okay.
I feel like those smaller platforms are just like one really big exclusive podcast away from being big. Kind of like,
Right.
remember how when Amazon, the show network thing came out, like nothing
Amazon
was on.
Prime Video or whatever.
Yeah,
and now
Prime
they've got like a
Video.
Handmaid's Tale and shit like
Yeah,
that.
well, I don't think they have Handmaid's Tale. I think that's HBO, I want to say.
That's Amazon.
Really? Oh, they got Handmaid's Tale now? I
It's
remember it
either
was
Amazon or
HBO.
Hulu.
Hulu has
Hulu,
Handmaid's
yeah,
Tale.
it's Hulu.
Yeah,
Hulu.
but I do remember that there are like a couple of really good shows now that are on Amazon, and like everybody's got Amazon. We're not sponsored by Amazon.
Fuck
Actually,
no.
I purposely don't have an Amazon Prime membership just because I don't support that company. But I'm that guy.
You're that guy.
Yeah.
You think the $19 is going to crush them?
You got to have principles somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I think not liking a company and complaining about it on Facebook or complaining about it on social media is a lot less effective than just not giving them your money. So
That's true.
yeah.
Fair enough.
That's true. I still buy Nikes though, and they definitely use slave labor. So
hey, but they've been making some fresh shoes though. They've been doing
Hey,
some good job over there in
fresh
China.
Shoes.
Air
Real
Force
fresh
Ones.
shoes.
What's
Okay.
your favorite Nikes?
Me?
Either of you guys?
I
Okay.
love Nike running shoes, man. Like I don't know the models and everything of them, but I always get their running shoes. So
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. I just got a pair of Air Force Ones a couple weeks ago, which I real love. They're real nice. But I also love the Kyries.
That's what I play basketball in.
I just bought a pair of I believe if I remember right, Kyrie 5s, but they're the Friends themed ones. So they've got like the Friends colorway on the bottom.
Oh, really?
And then like
That's
and then
funny.
the little like tag on the side says like has the Friends logo, and I saw that. I was like, I was literally just rewatching Friends, and I saw them, and I was like, this is a sign. I have to buy these now. So just got those.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's hilarious.
They also came out those SpongeBob ones.
I saw those.
I saw Tim's did those too.
Yeah.
Dude, they got like SpongeBob themed Timberland.
Okay, I saw the Tim's one the other day. I was like, what is it? But whatever works, I guess.
Yeah. No, I saw that. No, I've always had, or I played in Kyrie's for like the last 2 years. It's pretty cool.
They're real comfortable.
I have really bad ankles, so I have to be careful with what I wear. Very few shoes, otherwise I'll totally blow it out, and that'll be no fun for the next couple weeks.
I'm kind of like that too from sports injuries from high school. I've got like the super loose tendons in my ankles, so I have to wear shoes that like their soles are really thin, like the super low to the ground type shoes, because if they're like platform shoes, like wearing the Asics or something dad shoes like that, my ankles will straight up roll.
The New Balance, the white New Balance dad shoes. You
Yeah,
don't roll up
dude.
you don't roll up to the gym in the dad shoes and New Balance ready to ball.
Lawn stains on it, shit like that.
Dude, I laugh at that so much because like all of those like stereotypes about like dads, like Gen X dads, my dad fits every single one of them, dude.
The
like
grill and the
I have so many fond memories of, or not even fond memories, just memories of waking up earlier than I wanted to on Saturday mornings, listening to AC/DC Back in Black blaring on the old 90s stereo because my dad's like wiping down all the furniture in the living room and shit. Like, yeah, dude.
It's got to be that Gen X music.
Yeah.
Where they've got like the really high pitched screams and
Some
shit.
fucking like 80s like Def Leppard or some dumb shit like
I
that.
actually liked Guns N' Roses though.
That wasn't bad, yeah.
Guns N' Roses?
Yeah.
I know Nick's not a fan.
I'm not a fan of Axl Rose. I like
okay.
Slash. I just think Axl Rose is a big douchebag. So
Well, that's most musicians.
yeah.
Very true.
So what's been up lately? I haven't been following the news other than fucking Antonio Brown.
Man.
Well, I was gonna I guess we can start off talking about Antonio Brown. I know Caleb can really talk about that a lot since he's just getting signed by the Patriots.
That's the thing is, so we were talking about fantasy before this. We drafted Antonio, and I was
man.
They went, and I was like, with all the drama surrounding, even before all this, I told people, it's like, regardless of what drama he brings, when he's on the field and he plays, he puts up numbers.
Even when even last year, when he was supposedly ripping their locker room apart,
he was still putting up
1,600 yards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so then this whole thing of, he's going to be suspended. Best friend hit me up on it. I was like, it sounds like it'll only be a game. We're just going to set him on our bench because I know even
he's
if
going to play on
Sunday.
Sunday.
I was like, and so then he got released, and I was like, I know someone's going to pick him up. I'm gonna just sit here and we'll just keep him on our bench for however long it takes. And then I took like a 10-15 minute nap, woke up, and all of a sudden the Patriots had signed him, and I was like, well, I'm all right with that one fantasy wise.
Yeah, it's kind of funny with that. Somebody drafted him, but super late in mine. We just do like a 6-man one, so it's not too bad, but we have like a really big roster on ours. So but we did ours an hour before Andrew Luck had that press conference where he retired. So one of my buddies picked him up as their first quarterback.
See, that's how ours was too. We had our draft, and then later that night, someone put in our group chat about Andrew Luck retiring. And of course, the guy that drafted him gets super pissed. He goes, "Why are you posting it?" Like, I was sending out trade offers to try and get rid of him before this news really broke. And I was like, nothing will be worse though than the video I saw of it. These guys were in the middle of their draft. I don't know if either of you saw it, but in the middle of their draft, this guy just drafted Andrew Luck, and they're moving on like later into that same round. Yeah. And the news broke that he retired. And I was I've seen that. I was like, I would be so upset if I was like, dude, like, well, you just drafted a man that's already retired. Have fun with that one.
That was OJ Simpson drafted him right before he retired too.
That's funny.
I started following OJ on Twitter.
Man. Oh my
It's
gosh.
probably a good thing that Andrew Luck retired, just because like from what I've read about that dude, he had like really, really bad health problems. Like what was it, some with his feet, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Did you see Gronk said he had 20 concussions, 5 times where he completely blacked out?
Mm.
He said that the other day.
You were telling me about how he had after that Super Bowl last year, he had to like drain how much blood from his leg
It was
again?
like a liter of blood.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
that's a
say,
lot.
and he even came out in an interview and was like, "We won the Super Bowl," and for months afterwards, he goes, "I couldn't sleep."
Yeah.
Like people would be like, "Oh, you won the Super Bowl," and I was just like, "Yeah, all right, cool." Like,
Yeah.
just all those injuries, man. No,
Yeah.
as a Colts fan, I was devastated to see Andrew Luck retire.
Ooh.
That was tough.
I got Jacoby
I liked
Brissett.
Andrew Luck. He
was yeah, man. But
he wasn't a guy to hate or anything
No,
like that.
no.
Like
I will say one thing I've already loved about having Jacoby Brissett as our starter, though, week 1 is I was seeing pregame videos. I was like, I looked at my dad. I was like, our quarterback has personality now. Like
Yeah.
Jacoby
Yeah,
Brissett with the teammates and stuff. I was like, this is so much more personality than Andrew Luck just had, which isn't a bash on him. He was a great player, great
Right.
quarterback. It was just such a different style of quarterback at
I
that
feel
quarterback
like-
position for us.
I feel like the Colts knew that they were only going to have a limited amount of time with Andrew Luck anyway. I mean, like they knew about his health problems, so
It just didn't help that we were blessed with a quarterback like Peyton Manning for years and
Yeah.
years and years
Yeah.
before Andrew
Yeah.
Luck. And then we got Andrew Luck and he played like 2 years, got hurt,
Yeah.
played a
He was
year,
always hurt.
got hurt again, was out all year. Last year came back, had an amazing year, looking on the up and up, and then out of nowhere, retire.
That was, yeah.
at least you guys still got Frank Reich though as head coach.
Man, that man's
I mean,
done great things
Yeah.
for just the Colts turning it around, getting guys like Darius Leonard. That's been huge.
Yeah. No, because it was Marshawn Lynch. Remember when he retired and then like came back? Do you think they'll do that?
I don't think they will.
No?
Yeah, it's
With Luck?
not like Marshawn Lynch where he retired because he was hitting like that golden years,
Yeah.
of, those sunset years of being a running back.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck retired because like he physically, like you could tell he still wanted to play.
What about Gronk?
I don't think Gronk will come back either.
I think Gronk will.
You think so?
I think so. After just because I heard like hearing and seeing the interview, he not even really an interview. He was on some like promoting some product. I don't remember
the
what
CBD
it was.
oil.
Yeah, that oil
okay.
7. So he just asked him, and he got emotional about it, which was a big deal because it's not something that people really ever see from Gronk of him getting truly emotional. But he even said like he goes, the biggest thing for him retiring wasn't necessarily like the physical side of it, but it was more of the mental and emotional.
Mhm.
And he said he's kept in shape, and he was like, if I'm just trying to get my mind right. And if I get to a spot where I feel like my mind is right, I would hop in and play again. That being said,
Yeah.
I think I can't remember what sports show I was listening to, but I would agree with who they said it. I think if he does come back, it'll be within the next year or two while Tom Brady is for sure still there. Hop on with the Patriots again and go and come back as Tom Brady's still your quarterback. I don't know if he comes back and tries to do do something else with a different quarterback. I don't
Brian
think that.
Hoyer or somebody like that. No, I could.
I think Gronk is because I can kind of relate to that of like when you get out of a certain job or something like that because of the physicalness of
Mhm.
it, and then you've had like a little while off, and you're just kind of especially like the football season starting up, you're just like sitting there on the fence, like man, I really want to get up there and do that.
Yeah.
I really want to go, and then like you be in 2 weeks in, and you're just like crap, I can't do this anymore. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think he'll come back as something like Tony Romo. I could really see him come back. He's got a lot of personality.
Like
so
an
he could,
announcer?
announcer, a sportscaster, something like
I
that.
could see that.
No one will top Tony Romo is a player turned announcer though. That guy is
I
amazing
love
announcer.
Tony Romo, man. This is like his third year now.
I
right?
just love
His first year, I thought he was terrible. I was like, get this guy off my TV.
But once he really stepped, still my favorite videos of him are just when it's like, all right, if they're smart, they would run the ball to the right, watch them run it right off the tackle here to the right, and then the play goes, and they're like,
Well, did you see the overtime drive from the New England and Kansas City game where he accurately called every single play on
Are you
third down?
serious?
Yeah, he was like, all right, Gronk's going to chip here. They're going to get Edelman over the middle on 15 yards. And sure as shit, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Tony Romo's a smart guy. I mean, you don't go from an undrafted free agent to being a starting quarterback without being a smart in the quarterback position.
Right. Right. I just always love when Tony Romo like starts talking about what guys like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes need to do better. Like, you know,
I mean, I like legit. Tony Romo could probably his issue was just physicality. Like, I mean, his head was there. I
No.
he
think.
was always hurt.
I think if Romo was to play with the line the line that the Cowboys have now, I think he would. Not that he didn't do well when he played, but I think he would be able to stay healthy and take that next step just because they've got an incredible line now. Like,
definitely.
I could see Tony Romo going and being a coach somewhere, but it's just like the thing with Gronk. I mean, there's so much money in being a broadcaster for the NFL, and he's popular. I mean, people like him. So love or hate the Cowboys or Romo.
And then you've got Jason Witten, who tried.
Oh, I heard he was terrible. He was so bad he went back to play.
Well, it didn't help that literally you have Tony Romo, who, like we were just saying, did amazing, and you've got Jason Witten coming. Everyone's expectations are high, and then the difference between quarterback and tight end really showed. Like Jason Witten would try and just wasn't the same. And I mean, I know he's playing. Did he play this last Sunday, Jason Witten?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
I think he had a touchdown pass actually. I watched that game. You can definitely tell that the Cowboys O line isn't as good as they were like 3 or 4 years ago, but I think they're still all right. They that's why I think the quarterback position is probably the only one that can translate into going to be a broadcaster though, because quarterback is so much
to be able to read the whole.
Not only know the offense but read the defense.
Yeah, because you think guys like Phil Simms and. Who's a terrible announcer? That's a bad example. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman's a good announcer.
Troy Aikman is a great announcer. Yeah.
Boomer Esiason, guys like that. So, you know who I hated as an announcer was John Gruden. I'm so glad he's coaching, so we don't have to listen to him.
Did you watch that Raiders game against the Broncos?
I did.
Did you?
It was so fun to watch. Man.
His facial expressions, once they started pointing him out, like, man, they're just like, they would go and something bad would happen. The camera would go right to him. They're like, and there's that Gruden face we all know and love. Like,
Chucky, yeah.
Why does he get called Chucky? I've never understood that.
Because it was like kind of red hair, I guess, but then he was like always just. I don't remember. I remember watching a video about it. It just kind of became his nickname, just because.
Now you've got a Chucky, someone dressed as Chucky in the stands.
Yeah,
do they really?
Oh yeah, have you not seen that picture? Like,
I didn't know it was like based off the Child's Play thing. I thought it was like his nickname.
Yeah,
but now they've got. No, but
and he was always kind of known as like that real high personality, real attitude type coach. I remember like watching him when he was in Tampa Bay, and my mom would always be like, "Oh, there's Chucky getting all pissed over there on the sideline."
This is the first time I've heard that I didn't know his nickname was Chucky. Like,
yeah,
have you ever
Chucky?
Have you ever heard the conspiracy theories about him winning his Super Bowl?
Mm-mm.
So when they won the Super Bowl, it was when Bill Callahan was the coach of the Raiders, and Gruden had left the Raiders to coach the Bucs, right? So Bill Callahan, for whatever reason, used Gruden's playbook against him, and they just got destroyed. So there have been like former Raiders players have like accused Callahan of purposely like taking a fall for his old boss, like owing him a favor or some shit like that.
Dang.
Yeah, apparently the Raiders players were still using all the same like calls and everything.
They didn't change anything.
Yeah.
See, and that's where I don't know if you've heard it, but I mean the Broncos. Who did they play? I can't think of who they played this week. The Bears, and their like head coach used to. Their new coach last year was coaching for the Bears, and the big thing is they're like Broncos are going to kill him because he knows the Bears ins and outs and how that offense works. And I'm like, I mean, if you're smart. You're smart. You're going to change it every week, but especially every year. But especially since your coach is now like your defensive coach is now the coach for another team that you're going to play.
Right.
I'm sure you're going to switch it up and change it up on them.
Isn't the Broncos coach like their head coach is like 75 years old?
He's up there. What's his name again?
I don't even remember.
It's
Vic Cariucci.
It's like Fangio.
Or
it's like something Fangio or something like
right.
that. I can't think of his first name. No.
Mm-hmm.
Something Italian.
Yeah.
How do you feel though about
Brown?
all your Antonio Brown coming to your Patriots?
So, I mean, if he can not be a locker room cancer, I'm cool with it. As far as the rape charges, I'm gonna wait to see more evidence than what they've shown. right now the only evidence they have are screenshots of text messages, which if you think a screenshot of a text message on an iPhone is solid evidence, I've got a fucking bridge to sell you.
Yeah, that's not that damning of evidence.
No, I could fake any screenshot I wanted. I could fake a screenshot of either of you two, like saying these horrible racist things and like threatening my life, and it would be pretty easy to make it look real. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So we'll see. And it's just a civil case. It's not even a criminal one. So we'll see.
No,
we'll see.
No, I really don't.
If Ray Lewis can get away with murder,
I mean, on that, you mentioned OJ Simpson drafting Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
someone
exactly.
in our group literally goes, I think OJ's about to go off on someone again.
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, to be that person, I went in the group chat. I was like, wait, what do you mean again? And they're like, don't even start with that. I was like, what? What are you talking
oh my
about?
God.
OJ released a video about Antonio Brown because he doesn't know how to use Twitter. So he has that video. He goes, "Sup, Twitter world? It's yours truly."
Oh my God.
He's like, "Remember, Antonio Brown has been accused. There's a difference between accused and guilty."
fucking
Oh,
I'm
he
like,
did not.
oh no.
He did not.
He went there.
Oh
He's
my
so
God.
aware, dude.
See,
It's so
I will
funny.
say that's been the crazy thing of even as like as my dad's told me a little bit more about that. Like, that's the biggest thing with that whole case with OJ is since the case and they're like, oh, not guilty. Like he makes comments like that and like will say different things where you can't go back and try him. It's like now these people are like, wait, did he truly get away? Like, whatever side drama people are like, did he actually do this and get away with it? And now he's like showing us,
he's like bragging about it
with these comments. But no, someone else said the same with the Antonio Brown drama in the locker room, and I was like, I feel like the Patriots are, as much as I can't stand the Patriots being a Colts fan, I think Belichick and Brady both are the best people for Antonio Brown because I was like, they'll just take him right away and sit him down essentially and be like, all right, you want to try and pull that crap you just pulled?
Yeah.
You're gone. Like, we're not going to put up with it here. They just showed without Antonio Brown.
They said that about like Gruden and the Raiders and their the person that runs the Raiders and everything too, and like they just ended up cutting him. So if anything,
exactly.
the Patriots
If it doesn't work, they'll just cut him.
Exactly.
You saw their offense last week.
No, that's what I was about to say. Like, they looked great without Antonio Brown. That's what's the scariest for the NFL is if Antonio Brown can be that Randy Moss 2.0. Like,
have you
Antonio Brown better be watching himself though, because the Patriots don't need him.
No,
if he
exactly.
can't be pulling
Very
that
true.
stuff, they'll just straight up cut him. They
have
don't give a shit.
Have you seen the movie Get Out?
I haven't seen it because it came out while I was deployed, but I know about it.
I want
really?
to.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you this video and we'll pull it up. There was a tweet. It was like when Antonio Brown meets Josh Gordon in the Patriots locker room. Let me find it here.
Better be the iconic running and turn video.
No, not that one. That's
Yeah.
That's literally the only. That's literally the only
There you
video.
Oh.
That's fucking
Oh my
funny,
God,
dude.
it's
Of
that
course
good old-
it is.
Of course it is.
And then he like goes to like fist bump him and he shakes his hand.
Dang.
That's great. I don't know. I also just don't want to live in, and we talked about this last week. I don't want to live, not Antonio Brown per se, but pertaining to that. Like, I don't want to live somewhere where all someone has to do is just say he did this, and they don't have to have any proof, and then my life is ruined.
No, and my biggest thing too, and I think I saw you mention it on Facebook, but I feel like it's the biggest comment said within all of it is very like the timing of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, like I'm with you. Like there's not a ton, so don't want to say too much, but just it's one of those the timing of it all. It's very like not saying that this didn't happen and this is just happens coincidence on the timing of it, but like there's all this going on.
Well, we'll never know if it happened. Like we won't. The only way we'll know for sure is if there's like a video of him doing it, or if she comes out and says, "Yeah, I fucking lied."
Yeah, because usually when they come, when people will come public about this kind of stuff, they'll have like a bunch of like medical records.
Right.
So like kind of like with when everything was coming out against Tyreek Hill, there was a lot of evidence against him,
including a phone call where he admitted to saying,
and there was medical records. There was all sorts of other stuff like that. There was all sorts of anecdotal evidence of people being around him saying it. And like with him, it's just text messages. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, text messages that honestly, like, they weren't that incriminating.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't even if he did say it, it's not like he said you were passed out and I had sex with you. Like, he didn't say that. He said some things that were kind of gross. I don't know if you read them or not.
I didn't.
He
I
basically
didn't even give him
said
the time of day.
He said when you passed out, I jacked off on your back or something like that. I don't know. Very gross. Not the same as forcible rape. It's very. I mean, if he did that, then fuck him. He should be cut. But like I said earlier, screenshots aren't evidence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of just have to leave it at that. We'll never,
It's
because like if she's lying, then fuck her. But if he did it, then fuck him. He should go to jail. You know what I mean?
If he really did it, it sucks for her that she doesn't have any more evidence in that. But I mean, that's just how the court system works. You got to have a lot of evidence for it. And even then, sometimes it won't be enough.
The court can subpoena text messages. So if he really sent that, it'll be pretty easy to know if he did or didn't. Like, they can say, here, did he send that? And if that's the case,
even then, though, like, just text messages as your only evidence and then word of mouth, like, that's not really that strong of a case. You just have to, like us here, you have to convince a jury that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I don't think you'd convince a jury just off of those 2 pieces of evidence alone. Like,
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
Same.
I don't know.
From what I understand about how like the trials work and everything is like that, I don't think that would be enough evidence to like, usually these guys come by with like 7, 8, 9, things to show for that kind of stuff. It's like word of mouth of one person, because the one, the trainer is the only one that's going to be able to say so. And then like, oh, here's some text messages too. And it's like, Antonio Brown could just be like, yeah, I was just like joking around about that. And then like, okay.
I don't know. It's a tough situation.
It is.
I don't put much stock into, why did she wait 3 years, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so much psychology behind that of a rape victim that, like, I couldn't comprehend it. Because I mean, there's like, look at Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby definitely did it. And waited like 20
100%.
years.
No.
There's Spanish Fly. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I don't know if I have or not.
So he's on like a late night, like
I think he's
Kimmel.
talking to not Johnny Carson. I think he's talking to whoever the CBS one was.
Letterman.
Yeah, I think he's talking to David Letterman.
He's on there. He's like, we had a drug called Spanish Fly, and you'd slip it in the girl's drink, and hello, Dolly. He like it, man. This is like in the 80s. So everyone's ha 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 ha. Now it's like, you sick piece of shit.
I honestly, like, that's the thing, is there's stuff like that, and what was it? I don't even remember but a couple of my friends and I were going somewhere one night and we just got talking music, and one of them said something about I don't even remember how it got up, but something about R. Kelly and just everything that happened there.
Oh yeah,
and
sick fuck.
And I ended up like,
there was video of
they
him
ended up
on a girl.
They ended up seeing a side of me that, like, music wise, even that I was like, I calmed down, but I just was like, people were surprised, like, not saying what he did was right, because what he did was awful.
R. Kelly.
I was like, I was like, what he did was awful, but it's like people were so shocked by it, and I was like, you've got him, like, listen to his music, like, that was, I think that was the biggest thing, like, we were like, listen to their music, listen to the things they're saying.
Yeah.
I was like, it shouldn't surprise people, and I just went like, started going on. I was even like, you've got these, it's like, sadly, these newer artists that are going and overdosing on drugs and pills and stuff, and
sadly,
and I'm like going, and I'm just like, like, everyone's surprised, shocked. I was like, but you listen. I was like, just listen to their music.
They talk about Xanax. And
I was like, it shouldn't surprise. Like, that's literally, I was going on, and I was like, it's like, I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna stop. I was like, don't get me started on it. But that's the thing. I was like, some of these things you just get listened to, like you said, literally Bill Cosby sitting there.
Yeah. Admitting,
like you said, joking about it, like,
about Spanish Fly.
One thing I really love have you guys ever watched the Boondocks ever?
Yeah.
Did you saw the episode where they're doing the R. Kelly trial, but in the Boondocks? No. Oh my God, it's so funny because they like have the girl supposedly that he peed on in the video, and she's like, if I didn't want to be peed on, I would have moved out of the way. And that shit is so funny how they're like trying to have the defense for it.
Did you watch the Dave Chappelle special yet?
No, I haven't. It's on my top watch list.
That's something I've been meaning to.
He goes, I won't spoil the whole thing, but he's like, I'm what they call a victim shamer. He goes, I hear Michael Jackson molested these kids. I'm like, well, what were the kids wearing?
Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's like in that episode of the Boondocks. So that's like the main thing of the defense for R. Kelly is like if she didn't want to be there, she could just move out of the way. If she didn't want to get peed on, and they like the prosecutors like have the video of him peeing on the girl and stuff like, and they show it like in the cartoon, and he's just like, yeah, but if I didn't want to, I would have moved out of the way.
People get too comfortable on those late night shows. Have you seen the Suge Knight one?
I think so.
About Eazy-E?
I think so, yeah.
He's talking about, they're like, would you shoot so and so? And this is after Eazy-E had died, right? So he goes,
was this like an older one?
It's like in the 90s. Yeah.
Okay.
He goes, I wouldn't shoot somebody. They got this new thing where you get a syringe and you fill it up with someone's blood who's HIV positive and you inject it in the person so they die Eazy-E style. And I'm like, what did you just say? Like, did you just admit to killing Eazy-E?
Oh my God. Is that how Eazy-E died?
HIV, yeah.
Really?
I was going to say, yep. No, I definitely remember hearing about that one, yeah.
Yeah. Suge Knight. He probably had Tupac killed too.
Well, Tupac got shot.
By Suge Knight.
Tupac actually is still alive out there, and Biggie is too.
Hey, I'll be honest.
51.
Out of all of those like conspiracy theories on like, oh, these artists, like these celebrities are still alive and all that, out of all, probably be okay the most with Tupac. Like all of a sudden, like when those Area 51 memes are coming out all over the place,
Tupac
and everyone's like,
back.
oh, everyone's going for aliens, like. Was really in Area 51. It shows like Tupac and Elvis and like all these other celebrities.
Elvis is like a billion years
like,
old.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. They were like, oh, you're gonna see Elvis and Tupac just chilling in Area 51. Like, hey, what's up, guys? You've been alive this whole time. Like,
I think if there's one that most likely like isn't true, Elvis probably actually did die on the crapper from a heroin overdose.
Oh.
Like he was so strung out in his later years on fucking heroin.
Oh, Fat Elvis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a mess. I mean, that's completely believable that Elvis died.
Yeah, I don't entertain the people Elvis being alive. So he had no reason really to like say he was dead. I mean,
What's of all the conspiracy theories out there, anything is fair game. Which one do you believe the most? Both of you go.
oh man,
that Area 51 as the spaceships or had the spaceships is probably not there anymore.
Okay.
But
man, I feel like I just had one that I don't even remember why, but I feel like there was some conspiracy theory I was thinking about the other day. I was like, oh, I can't remember what it was now.
Not 9/11.
No.
I don't believe
not
9/11.
I don't think 9/11 was a conspiracy. I think it's completely believable that they fucked up and didn't stop it.
Man, I will. It's not a conspiracy theory. I saw this the other day on Facebook, and it was in regards to 9/11, but it was a post about some daycare at the Pentagon.
Mhm.
Like after the first planes hit and all this, apparently like there's this daycare for all these, and the like essentially the manager of the daycare and stuff, like all these employees looked around and they had all these kids, like 40-something, all this. There's no way we can get all these kids and these toddlers and babies out of here.
Right.
And apparently like a Marine came in, was like checking and asked like, what's going on? What do you need help with? And he said it. He goes, all right, sounds good, and walked out. And at first, of course, they're like, well, all right, are we not going to get any help here? And they ended up went and got like a ton of other Marines, and they just started carrying.
I've heard that story. Yeah.
Carrying all these kids out, took them to the park nearby, and like ended up going back, grabbing the cribs that these babies were in, and like circling these toddlers so that they didn't run off and escape.
Really?
Yeah, like they went just so the kids wouldn't like go, because I mean at that point, especially as a toddler, you're gonna be panicking. But they made a perimeter with these cribs.
This happened before the
Like,
planes crashed.
Yeah, as the news broke that the first one hit, all this and this was going on. And the Marines ended up staying there, I guess, until like parents started coming and get their kids. But it was one of those where it's like at the end, it was on Facebook. At the end, it's like these are the stories you don't hear about 9/11. That like again, I was like, dang, like I never read it, never heard about that. But that's just
I've heard that conspiracy theory about Pearl Harbor being known
They
about.
let it happen.
Yeah.
FDR knew about it and used it as an opportunity to officially get into World War II.
I can see that.
If that's true, then I mean, like you could say that 9/11, that like the government knew about it and just maybe
They did.
tried to help it. Like they didn't plan it, but they knew it was going to happen and they didn't do anything to stop it.
They They definitely knew about it. Whether they just let it happen or not is what the debate is. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, the FBI and CIA, that's why they had that law that was passed shortly after where they all had to tunnel it through the same system.
Yeah.
Because the FBI and the CIA, and it was like one other organization, I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been NYPD. They all had like different pieces of the case that all three of them together could have stopped it, but they all wanted to be the one to solve it, so they didn't work together. And
Yeah,
that's why
I feel like they all definitely knew about it.
I remember hearing about that too.
yeah.
And I mean, it's just like the whole war on terror thing is just so fuel for conspiracies, because like the whole thing about like they knew that I mean like those terrorists were linked to Taliban guys in Afghanistan. And then they were like, they tried to claim that as an excuse to invade Iraq too. And it's like,
and it's
after everything came out later on about knowing like the government was trying to turn, the Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein into like basically a puppet of the U.S. and refused to do it. Like, it's just like, come on, man.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, are you on the side that Osama bin Laden's truly dead, or is that
he's probably dead.
He's probably dead.
Probably
yeah.
Dead. I'm on the same side, but I know that was one. Again, yeah. It's crazy to me how quickly people hear something and they're like, "Oh, yep, nope, this isn't true." Like,
yeah,
why would you lie about something like that? Like, you want someone like that just running around. So, oh yeah, no, he's dead, and we're hiding him in Area 51, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think what people were shady about was they like threw his body out to sea or something.
They did that so people wouldn't just like get his body and like martyr, because the enemies are gonna treat him like a martyr. So
right, yeah. And then whereas Saddam, you like saw the video of his head popping up like a Rock'em Sock'em robot. So.
Well, I think because Saddam was much more of a political figure there, it was gonna help the people that didn't like Saddam in Iraq, because like. However you say it, like Saddam was probably worse than bin Laden or Osama bin Laden was, just because like Saddam like was used gas weapons as a government okayed it to like
Osama was just people.
He's like a terrorist
like
leader.
There's all that. I would agree. Like that's the thing is I know it's crazy to me though is I've got a friend of mine that I think he's about to go overseas. I can't remember where, but wherever it is, he's like. It's for this country area. It's literally like one of the most heavily like run with kind of like terrorism somewhat. I don't remember the thing, but he
Afghanistan?
Is he going to Afghanistan or is he going to like Syria? Because
I can't remember, but it's literally one where he goes because of that. It's surprisingly like the safest place for them to be, like when it comes to all that. Because I was like, well, I guess I can kind of see it because I was like this. Wherever it is isn't going to want all this attack on their own like city. So I was like, I guess I kind of can see it. He goes, it'll be interesting, but no, like you said, Saddam literally was like, oh, let's use gas weapons as military weapons. And
I think the whole thing with Saddam being a bad dude was like, there's so much that goes into that whole situation, because like the history of the last basically like the 60s to like the 90s of Iraq is just a lot to take in. There's a lot of stuff that went into that, and just because Saddam was like a political it's so much more people knew about Saddam. Like he's a former president of the country, so it's a lot more to have a public execution of him than a fucking old terrorist dude living up in a mountain house somewhere in Pakistan.
And I think you said it best too. Like Saddam was that political figure, so his people see him dead. It's like, oh, we just lost our leader. Where with Osama, it's a terrorist group. Not only is he dead now, but like you show, like, oh yeah, here's the body. Like those people are gonna, like you said, see him as a martyr and wanna retaliate if they can and get it. Essentially, if they have a chance, get his body back. So like,
right. Yeah,
it makes sense. It's like, okay, let's just dump him where if you can find his body, great, but we're not going to put ourselves in danger.
Right. No, that's a good point. Well, didn't like right after they killed him, though, a bunch of the Navy SEALs that were involved in the raid got their helicopter blown up or something like that?
Yeah, I don't necessarily see that as a conspiratorial thing, because like the teams, like the SF teams that work like, or not SF, but like the special operations like teams that work like that are really small. Like there's not a whole, like prior to what you, or contrary to what you would think, there's the special forces community like that, and the military as a whole is really small. So of course they're not just going to go, do a mission where they get Bin Laden, and then they're just done. Like
Right.
they're going to be they still have time to do over there, and like helicopters get shot down all the time over there in Afghanistan.
Sure.
So it's really that I like during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, the biggest thing that stopped the Soviet Union from like basically taking over the whole country is because the Mujahideen had like Stinger missiles to shoot down their helicopters. So I mean, you can go up on the live leaks and see like Taliban videos of them shooting down our helicopters all the time. Like,
which I think, from what I've heard too, it feels like for some people the conspiracy theory comes in too, because it was somewhat like kind of that same group that we as a country, like, oh, you guys need help here, let's send you weapons and help you out with weapons. And then
we always do that.
Yeah. And then it just happened like, and
then
those weapons were turned and used on our own military. And I know from what I've heard, like that's where some people even come through and they're like, we literally armed these people that ended up turning and coming in. We were into war now with, and it's like you said, that's something that we, as a country, it's like, oh, you need help here. Let's try and be the peacemakers and help you out.
We'll send you guns.
That's supposedly why Osama did that or why the Taliban attacked the U.S. was because after they repelled the Soviet invasion and the Soviet Union collapsed, we were just like, stop supporting them. And they were like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah.
So
if I had to pick one, it'd be JFK.
The JFK thing?
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, the JFK thing is just so weird, man. Like...
I believe that one.
But now what? Because there's a lot of different conspiracy theories about JFK. What is it? Do you think like Lee Harvey Oswald was...
The Federal Reserve had him killed.
Yeah, you think so? Well, the Federal Reserve isn't a part of the U.S. government, right?
No, but they can still have him killed.
That's true.
I think because it was like right after he had said he wanted to audit the Federal Reserve or end it or whatever is when he was killed. And then I don't know, just the fact that you have the assassin gets assassinated. Come on. Nobody, even right now where everyone's so polarized and radicalized, well, maybe now, I don't know, but nobody loved a president that much. You know, I'm going to throw my whole life away because you killed a complete stranger to me. I just don't see it. So I think he got killed to get shut up. So
yeah, they had plenty of people reproduce the shot. I don't think there was more than one shooter.
No.
I think it was like, from what I know about ballistics, I think it's very possible that Lee Harvey Oswald was the only shooter and could easily, it could make that shot. People have reproduced that shot from that exact same everything.
Right.
So, yeah, it's probably like what you said. He had to have been on somebody's pay books or something.
Definitely.
Like that.
Yeah, no, I think it was one shooter.
Because was this the one where like, even part of it was like the route he had to take was also rerouted or
yeah,
anything? Okay, I was going to say that's what I thought that was this, but I couldn't for some reason.
You want to know another one that people don't think about is Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
that was one I was thinking about.
JFK. He got assassinated after he started speaking out about Vietnam and stuff.
There was some shady shit. So Martin Luther King, the balcony that he got shot on. So where he was shot from, it was like a hotel or an office building.
Hotel. I think it was hotel to hotel.
The week before that, the city had gone in and ordered that the trees that were blocking the window that he was shot from to be removed.
I didn't know that one. Wow.
Yeah, the week before he got shot, before he was coming there.
There was even an ex-CIA guy that was on Rogan that was like, yeah, he was probably assassinated.
Well, he got they proved it in criminal court, but they sued the U.S. government and they proved it in civil court that he was killed by the U.S. government. So,
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Now, again, back to Antonio Brown, that's not concrete. A lot can change in civil court.
Yeah.
You can point all this stuff out.
But, go full circle on that.
Yeah, we go Martin Luther King and Antonio Brown.
Wow, that's quite the segue into that.
Well, yeah, because there's plenty of recordings like in the later 60s, because he did his I Have a Dream speech in like 66, right?
Yeah.
Because he was assassinated in what, 68 or 69, I think.
Pull it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he was speaking out on Vietnam, and everybody knows what a shit show the Vietnam War was in the United States history. So
that's
1968, St. Joseph's Hospital in Memphis.
Yeah,
St. Joseph, that's where he died.
And then this guy who killed him got killed right after that too, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's another one.
Yep. It's
now we got the Epstein thing. It's
Epstein. That's
has any more stuff come out about him? I haven't really followed it.
Yeah, the detective that was investigating his case, a year ago died at age 50 of a minor illness.
Oh yeah, of a minor illness.
A minor illness. It was like the
What
flu or something.
Oh wow,
He got poisoned.
Yeah.
man. No, I will say, I'm not like huge into believing like a lot of conspiracy theories, but like stuff like that, like with the Amazon just being caught on fire. Did you like catch kind of some? I don't even remember.
I saw a little bit.
There
about
was,
it.
I mean, it was one where it took so long for like it to catch media attention, I feel like.
Yeah.
But then as it started to, there was something else that came out, and I'm not saying that like I read it and I was 100% like, oh, this is what happened. It just, like you said, it's interesting to think about and hear and read and see and be like, okay, is this part of it? But
the media does that all the time. They start blowing up some kind of event when like a soldier gets killed and.
But
like,
yeah,
Syria
well, this
or
one was
something.
the government was already wanting to like. It was some Amazon tribe that lived there went to court with, I don't remember what country. I want to say it was U.S. Maybe, I don't know why it would be U.S. But some where they're like, oh, like fighting for their land. This Amazon tribe wins, so no one can touch the Amazon. Like no one can touch the land because it's their home. Like it's where they live and all this. And then like days after that, this court ended and like this Amazon tribe won is when the Amazon started catching fire.
From what I understand too about that fire is like the fire really isn't as bad as the media is making it out to be.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
I have heard that every year they do a control burn, like they do a control burn of the Amazon. It just happened that this one got out of hand a little bit more.
Yeah.
And because it got out of hand, people were like, oh shoot, what's going on? And like now people know that they do a burn every year.
Well, the Amazon, it grows really fast. That's
I think the part of the reason people are freaking out is the reports of like, oh, if it continues on, it's getting close to that spot where it won't be able to like, I don't know, it'll take forever for it to continue to get back to where it could be or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but
so I learned in a college class that the reason that the Amazon
throw it out, whatever it wasn't true.
I know, right? It was like a biology class, so it wasn't like something super like social sciences or anything like some bullshit like that.
But
But
going from social science topics to
I know, right?
Science.
But I learned that the reason that the Amazon grows is like as crazy as it does is because like the winds that blow from like the global winds, the same kind of winds that'll blow like sandstorms to all the way across the ocean to South America. What they do is they carry like all this nitrogen from the like really dried up desert in the in the Sahara and everything, and that nitrogen just lands in the Amazon, and that's what lets it grow. So because like plants need crazy if you get crazy nitrogen somewhere, that's where plants will grow like crazy. So
oh really?
Yeah, it's basically the Sahara Desert makes the rainforest in the South America.
Have you heard about these people dying from the vapes?
Yes.
So like,
the only reason I've seen it is because of the memes the meme that's come from it of like opioid death.
I've seen that.
This death, vape death, 6.
You know what I think is hilarious? I think memes are the best way of countering the mainstream media's like bullshit that they try to push. It's so great.
Yeah.
Like anytime some story comes out that tries to brainwash people or whatever, tries to put out some BS, you just make memes and it goes around on Facebook and like it doesn't get anywhere. It's so funny. I love it.
That's so I don't know. Well, so I guess what's happening is it's like the THC thing. And
wasn't it that they just bought like black market cartridges from China?
Yeah, so it's it's happening in the US.
But they bought the stuff. Oh, so it's bought from the US. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the real story. This isn't the bullshit they're feeding that it's being mass produced from China. There's some asshat somewhere in like the Midwest or something like that that's making these
Midwest.
That's making these THC, and don't ask me how I know this. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. He's making these THC whatever. I'm not hip to vape lingo, so I won't pretend to be. The THC containers, and he's putting them with vitamin D or C, which is, I guess, horrible for your lungs. So people are inhaling it, and like you would normally with marijuana, and it's just ripping holes in their lungs. So that's why people are dying, because they're cheaping out and they're going to the cheapest shit.
I don't think there's a whole lot of people anyway out there that really believe vaping is safe.
No.
You just know that it's safer than cigarettes.
It's slightly better than cigarettes.
And didn't it come out too that a lot of the like all these adverts and everything coming out saying that the vaping is like should be banned and everything is all coming from like tobacco industry stuff.
Wouldn't
So
surprise me.
I remember because vaping got popular, like 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah, I remember being
having,
in the army. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
People used to do it in the army because it was before all the laws came out about doing it inside. So people would vape inside and was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I had a customer because I sold cars right out of high school. He owned a vape shop. And I remember him telling me, he's like, yeah, man, completely safe. There's no, I just remember I was like 18 at the time. And I'm just thinking, bull fucking shit.
Yeah.
Maybe they can't prove that it's unsafe now, but you can't tell me that inhaling water vapor into your lungs and then pushing it back out is completely safe.
Yeah.
That's a thing called drowning. And when you have too much water in you die.
That's so. I remember too when it came out, like you said, that everyone was like, oh, yeah, no, it's safe. Like, no. You could smoke, but this is so much safer, and that's what they got people hooked on. And I was like, I mean, granted, when it started, it may have been like they may have done it where it's like, oh yeah, this isn't bad. But then as people are buying it, it's like, okay, let's change this up a little bit and start putting warnings on it. And now all of a sudden the people are hooked. Like, it's like I know quite a few people that they started vaping because it was instead of smoke, they're like, you know what, I want to quit smoking, but I can't quit cold turkey and can't like get myself to stop. Let me start vaping.
Right.
I think it's
work my way off of it.
I think it's safer than like tobacco and
I
cigarettes.
agree.
The amount of shit they put into cigarettes, like you inhale like literal lead,
like rat poison and
shit.
Shit
You
like that.
literally arsenic. You literally breathe in arsenic.
Cigarettes are disgusting.
Yeah,
dude.
there's so much bad stuff in there, man. Because you're like smoking the paper alone just from what they wrap the cigarettes in. It's terrible for you.
Well, putting anything into your lungs isn't great for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even if it's marijuana, which it's completely safe.
Yeah.
Marijuana for the most part is safe, but still, the fact that you're smoking it into your body or you're inhaling it into your lungs is
So
still
what you're
not
telling
great
me is
for you.
putting this oxygen into my body is awful for me.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible for you.
It's like the
100% of people who breathe oxygen end up dead. That's all I'll say.
It's
Dang,
the
I'm
dude.
gonna stop breathing oxygen then.
It's the dude weed bros that are the ones that are out there saying like marijuana is completely safe. There's no. It's like, bro, it's not safe. It's just not that bad.
It's not as bad. So marijuana, if you're a person with a lot of, and this goes for psychedelics too, if you're a person with a lot of anxiety who's not at peace with where you are in life, I don't think you should use them because you'll freak out because it does induce paranoia. And if you're not like completely content, if you're not for the most part content with your life, I don't think you should because people flip
even
out.
if not, long time use of it does affect your brain. Like it does change the chemicals in your brain and everything. Which I mean, if you're okay with that, long time abusive alcohol does the same thing. So
except for your liver too.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I know someone that used to just do all kinds of drugs, and weed was one of them. And he even will say like, he goes with the big for him. He goes the big difference when it comes to like weed compared to alcohol. He goes, alcohol, someone can have never drank before, have a beer, and they're like, unless you're super lightweight, like you're fine, and it doesn't really have any effect on you right then and there. He goes, weed, if you've never smoked weed before, he goes, most people he's talked to, like all it takes is one small hit for them that first time. They're like, you could take a small hit and you're still like, it just hits you that hard because of just everything that it involves and everything it's in and like, that's in it and stuff. So I agree with you. Like,
they make it
not that I'm forcing like, oh, smoke, but especially if those people, it's like, oh, I just look at the ones that smoke weed and that it's like, it just is taking that huge hit on their life and the toll on their life. You look at just everything starting like, people are like, oh, they didn't have it all together to begin with, and they were trying to use it as this coping mechanism.
Right.
There's a lot better coping mechanisms out there for sure than I don't like where my life's at now. Let me put this substance into my body that is going to essentially like really in a way kind of put myself outside of the situation, but really enhance I don't like where my life's at right now, like you were talking about, and make it
because you really start thinking about shit and you start thinking about little intricate details of things that you wouldn't think about while you were sober.
There's a reason,
and you start picking your life apart. So what's that?
So there's a reason there's those like hit the blunt memes.
Exactly.
And like those is because you get that paranoid.
You start picking little things apart. Like, well, I don't even know how to describe it. And of course I'm not doing this from experience, but describing from experience. But like the world slows down. So like, in Grand Theft Auto when you have like the special ability while you're driving.
See,
I don't think
slows down for you, and you can kind of pick things apart in real time.
I was thinking of the one of just where that dude slipped you something and there's the clowns all over that you have to take out.
No.
Like that's where I thought you were going with that. I was like, that's a whole nother story, but that's what I was like. You were going with.
It's funny how you say that. Like, of course, I've never done it. I think in this day and age, I don't think it's so much of a damning thing to say, yeah, I've tried smoking marijuana.
Right.
Or like, dude, you get like all the like presidential candidates out there right now. They're like, yeah, I've smoked weed before. Oh,
right.
Who cares? Like,
yeah.
No, it's.
It's not like
that
in the 80s where you admit that and then all the news articles that pop up and he smoked weed.
Now
one
it's not.
Presidential candidate who has been on our show that I've personally seen consume marijuana. So
yeah,
I won't go any further.
I think you're right on. I mean, nowadays, like you said, where you're saying like, you're saying like, oh, of course, I've never smoked. It's just from what like I've read and what I've heard from people. But I think you are right on like. Nowadays, it's not necessarily like, of course I've never smoked, because I mean, with how many people are out there that do smoke, like it's kind of almost a flip sometimes of, oh yeah, of course I've tried it, but also it's not like the 60s and stuff where you say I've tried weed before, and
they throw you
all of a sudden you're gonna be like, oh, they're part of the hippie crowd. Like,
yeah.
Now it's
like businessmen do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
I think
the
it
medical
just,
marijuana.
I think it just becomes problematic when it comes to any other substances. If just you use it a lot, and get totally fucking fried out on it, just like anything else. Like,
if you go home on a Friday night and you want to sit at home and play Xbox and smoke a joint, it's not my fucking business.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
a functioning adult. You're whatever. It doesn't matter.
It only becomes my business if you're doing it really, really like with all the windows closed and everything, and then I walk into my apartment and I can smell that stinky ass shit from like my upstairs neighbor. I'm like, dude, fuck you.
I think when you have a problem is when you're like, and I've known people like this that are, I can't apply for that job. They drug test. Like you can't put that shit down for 30 days so you can get a better paying job.
Yeah.
Then you kind of have a problem.
Because usually a lot of those drug test jobs, they just don't drug. They say they can, but they never do.
Well, every job can drug test you for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
So if you get hurt at work, so they may not drug test you in the beginning because they don't want to spend the money, right?
Yeah.
Or for whatever reason.
Yeah, drug tests are expensive.
If you get hurt at work, like say, you were in some kind of accident and you go to the hospital on their dime because it was a workplace related injury, you bet your ass their insurance is going to make them run a drug test.
Oh yeah,
sure,
P test and an on the spot saliva test.
It's not at that point. It's not even the company doing it. It's the insurance company.
For sure. No, and I mean,
company's doing it.
I used to work with a guy that like him and I were talking and go over and I would go over and actually this guy would go and give me I'd go over and he'd give me haircuts and stuff, and when he had he had a bong sitting there and weed stuff sitting, and him knowing like my stance on it, not like him and I were talking one time. He goes, yeah, and I was like, I'm not judging on it. Like, man, I'm not going to judge what you're doing. Like what you do in your free time, that's on you. I'm not one to judge anything because we all mess up. We all make bad decisions. But he even told me, he goes, I don't do it a ton. He goes, but he's someone that, for him, when he would smoke it, it would calm him down.
Yeah.
And he's like, whenever I get real angry, like I just know I'm getting angry for the wrong reasons or like getting super worked up about stuff.
Right.
He goes, when I get a chance, he goes, I'll at times take a hit just because he goes, it calms me down and helps me get calmed down enough where I'm like, okay, you know what? Look at the situation and see I don't need to be getting upset by that. Like, it just gets him calmed down and back into kind of just a calmer mood where he can process his thoughts instead of doing it in an angry mood.
I think it's better for you than alcohol in that sense, because if you're pissed off and you start drinking, most of the time you're just going to get more pissed off or sad or whatever the case may be. So I don't know. Thoughts, opinions?
Thoughts. I think it's been about an hour.
It's been about an hour. I think we got to close it. Do you want to plug anything, bro?
Yeah, plug your podcast, man.
Yeah, no. Like I said, Monday Motivation Podcast with Keagan Jewell. If you're on social media, Instagram, it's Monday Motivation Podcast is the handle. But yeah, it's every Monday I come out with an episode, and the goal for it is I look around and I talk to people and I see and hear people that either one, don't know what they want to do in life, or two, know what they want to do and just don't know exactly how to take that step into it. So my goal each and every week is to just help kind of that tagline I've created for it is come together working towards our full potential one Monday at a time. Keep them short episodes just as people on their way to work can drive and listen to it. Maybe I know a lot of people nowadays have jobs and office spaces where they're able to kind of listen to whatever they want. But yeah, it's just an encouragement, kind of help you get through. I know Mondays can suck. Mondays can make or break a week, and the goal for it is to just help set your week right by giving you something encouraging and just that motivation you need, not only get through your Monday, but to take it throughout your week and go, okay, how can I apply this? How can I take this to just get closer to what I want to do in life, and just either that or figure out what exactly I want to do in life is a big thing. So like I said, Monday Motivation Podcast with Keagan Jewell. It's on Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor, SoundCloud, YouTube. Look it up. And like I said, on Instagram, I've got it Monday Motivation Podcast. So
go like us on Facebook. It's running across the bottom. Bread and Circuses by Big Bill Media. Give us
5 stars.
5 stars on Apple and subscribe and like on YouTube.
Yes.
That's because the algorithm is set up to help the bigger podcasts. You know,
not
if we
even
have 50
that.
people listen to this, and all 50 of you go give us a 5-star. That would be a huge deal.
The algorithm just doesn't even push podcasts as much anyway. So yeah,
we'll
likes,
have more than
follows,
50 people listening to this.
Share, word of mouth. Yeah, that kind of stuff always helps us out. So.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
Sure.
Anything else we want to plug?
I think that's all I've got. Like I said, Monday Motivation Podcast. And yeah, just thanks guys for having me join you guys.
Definitely,
man.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on, Keagan.
Yeah. You can donate $1 a month to us on Anchor if you guys want to do that. So, all right. Peace out.
Peace out, everybody. Later.